and welcome to Not Your Mother's Midlife Crisis. I'm Chris, here again, as always, with my pal, Chris.
Hello, Chris. How are you doing?
Good. Where did I come up with pal?
I know. I have no idea. You can say bestie.
I can say
that's probably
bestie,
a little bit
that's
more.
Right. Yeah.
But the sun's
Why do it to be
shining.
presumptive? Yeah. Oh, finally.
It's warm outside.
Yeah.
I'm in my element.
I know. You
not
are
cold.
so happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that episode you wore the big blue
I did.
coat. So today we're really lucky.
Yes.
We have Karen Bartholomew. She is the founder of the Pause Method. It's a philosophy based in taking pause, intentional pause and reflection to gain clarity and take decisive action on your own life.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need this episode today.
I know. I'm like,
And
okay.
Karen's journey started 14 years ago when she felt stuck and disillusioned. So this prompted Karen to look inside herself and turn around her life with small mind shifts and, of course, lots of hard work.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So welcome to Not Your Mother's Midlife, Karen. It's so nice to see you.
Oh, it's so
Welcome.
good to be here. I cannot wait to share this message. It's so impactful and powerful for women of any age.
That's
Oh.
awesome. And is there anything we missed in your intro you'd like to share before we
No,
start?
I mean, I've been a single mom for 26 years, raised 3 kids on my own, and then empty nester. So, it's been a journey. It's
Congrats.
Yeah, I was going to say. we can be
Fabulous
like,
for
yay.
you. Good for you.
Thank you.
How did you get yourself to pause and realign? Like, how did you do it for yourself, let alone other people?
I think that, it was probably back in 2010. I just kind of really got sick of myself, just doing the same old, and doing things for other people, always saying yes. And I just burned out to the point where I was like, remember pulling over the side of the road one day after dropping the kids off at school and like, what am I doing? I'm just so like on the hamster wheel of the corporate ladder, and just 3 kids. They were very small, all in elementary school basically. No real support, which I created that myself, to be honest with you, based on the messages that, I pulled forward from my past constraints in my life, which we will talk about a little bit. And just, I had to really just go, someone asked me to go to a class to be really aware of how I played life. And I'm so grateful for that person who's not with us anymore. And bless him. He's just a wonderful person. And I just said yes without even knowing what I was doing. I'm like, I'll say yes to anything at this point, but something for myself. So, and I didn't have a lot of money at the time. And so I just decided to take a chance. I jumped in. I'm like, I'm going to take this class. Someone needs to take care of my kids. I'm going to figure it out. It was the best thing I ever did for myself. Thankfully. And it really made me see what the messages were in my own head. And the messages basically from childhood, just because, and I love my parents, don't get me wrong, everyone does the best that they can, but it's like, at times not feeling loved and feeling like I didn't matter and like not being seen and not being heard, which are all the 4 things that children want and need, right? So we're always striving for that, whether we're doing things to get in trouble to get the attention or to become a performer or whatever it is. And so, I took those things out into my adult life, and of course I've attracted whatever I was thinking and feeling, right?
Right.
So not being wanted, you attract people in your life that, don't want you, not, thinking you don't matter, right? You attract what you think about. One of the best quotes I've ever heard and know is the Shakespeare quote that says, there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so.
That is true.
Yes, it really is. It really is that outlook. Yeah, and I think we've talked about this a lot in other episodes about we were both, and I think a lot of women and moms, that you just don't want to ask for help. And you're just like, I'm going to just keep doing it. I'm going to keep grinding it out. I'm going to keep doing it to the detriment of your own physical and mental well-being.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Because that was the example. That's what we were told to do. Mm-hmm. That's what was expected of us.
Right. Yeah. And, don't be selfish. That's another big word. And so one of the words that I use for women and help them with is give yourself permission to be a little selfish, because, like when you go on an airplane, right, and they say to put the oxygen mask on first, well, we need oxygen, and it's not always that oxygen, but we need to take care of ourselves, like your morning routine. Yeah. How do you ground yourself before the kids wake up, right? So you can really be present for them before they go off to school. I work really hard on the days I work really hard, but I also have a lot of free time where I can just be totally mindless, and just focus on nature and joy and all the things, that I need to fill myself up. So is it selfish? Yes. To take time for myself so I can fill my bucket and be the best version I can be for everybody out there that I have an opportunity to impact, right? And bring this message to. If I'm not doing the work, right? And I'm no good for anybody else.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like you want to say, oh, you earned it, but it shouldn't be earned. It should just be accepted, and that everybody gets it because everybody deserves it. There is no earning.
You don't need to earn anything. We earned it by being human beings.
Yeah, that's a great point, because I always feel in the same thing. I think it just goes back to being a female, that what's been ingrained, and you have to put everybody else first, and you shouldn't have to feel that way. Again, we're all human beings. We all need to be healthy. And again, I like the fact you can't be present if you are so bogged down and beat down. And I guess, and I'm hoping for some of our listeners that it shouldn't, especially our younger listeners, that it won't take them till we're our age to realize that.
Right.
Yeah.
I think a couple of them got it. I feel like they're.
I think
they do. I feel like they're better at it.
Yes. We're better at it because we have a society now. Of course, a lot of celebrities and stuff are all talking about this, how we just grinded it out for so many years. And I was in corporate America, so I did it as well. But like really to take a step back and start looking at what do we want to create? Intentionally, what do we want to create and design for our life? Which is also what I do with my coaching. Because most women have normalized the exhaustion and resentment and disconnection. And we're feeling depleted as just doing adulting, right?
Yeah.
And so, the work that I do really looks at that. What are those messages, right, that you're telling yourself that you don't even know because you're on autopilot, right? And really taking a look at that stuff and being aware how we play life. How are we really playing life? And really able to ask the right questions to make it a safe container and environment for for women really to tap into that. Which is why I do my retreats, because it's only for 20 women. It's a safe container for us really to take a look at all that stuff and unravel it. And then really with no judgment or opinion, just really look at it and go, okay, that's what happened, but I don't need to live there anymore because that was my childhood world. And I'm in an adult world now, and we have choices, right? So we can rewrite those stories, right? And then practice what we're rewriting every single day. Right? Because again, what we're thinking about, right, and feeling is what we're attracting. So let's break out of that container. I always say there's a box we live in, and we need to bust out of it, right? Because all the blossoming, all that version that we want most of the time is sitting out here, but we just don't know how to get it. And it's not out there in the world; it's inside us.
We got to believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's inside us. It's not out there. And so when I've been in relationships, and even when I was married, the version that I was just the version that I could only be because I was in constraint and I wasn't healed from certain things, right? So when I start really unraveling that, then I'm starting attracting different people. Like I said something earlier about it, right? You attract different people in your life. So let's stop for a moment in a pause, however long that pause has to be. I've taken a minute pause. I have taken a week pause. I have taken a 3-month pause to go to North Carolina, right? Because I needed just to get away from, in the rat race of what was going on with my kids. They needed to live their life. I needed to go to my second home for a while, right?
Okay. Yeah, because that's what fed your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's funny because I told my kids, I'm like, how y'all need to take mental breaks? Mom needs a mental break right now. I love you dearly, but I need my mental break. And then they said, Mom, that was way too long. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
Hey, at least they missed you. That's really
too long, right? Yeah.
It's a good sign that they noticed.
So are most of your clients in midlife, or is there a pause method for any age?
The pause formula method actually works in any age. My own daughter, who's 26 now, just had a new baby, and
congratulations.
She's taking pauses. She actually took one yesterday to go on a little hike with her baby, right, to get out of the house. And I'm like, good for you, right? But yeah, so it works for any age. It doesn't matter because we're all human beings. We all have constraints that we all need to break through. One of the biggest ones that I see in the work that I do is women feeling not safe, because they weren't safe somewhere in their, childhood. And so what happens is they take that in the real world and they still live in that. And so what happens when we feel like we're not safe is that nervous system keeps us isolated. And it sees danger everywhere, right? Yeah. Versus like you are really safe. You have a safe home, a safe family, a safe working environment, and all these things. When we can really like unravel that for them with certain questions and really get them to think that, you see their nervous system actually relax and they can see a new world that they could step into.
That's really interesting.
That is really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm listening and playing in my head what I could do.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you thinking?
Well, because I'm thinking like, oh, I definitely didn't feel safe as a child. I mean, without going crazy, I'm the youngest of 5 kids in a single family household. So, you had to be fast if you wanted that ring ding. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And interesting enough, you say that. I'm from 5 children as well. Okay. I felt safe, but I was sandwiched between 2 boys, 15 months older and 18 months younger, and like not no harm to my mom or anything, but like she favored the boys, and so I was that one in the middle, the chore girl, and
so they figured out
how not to do chores, and
yeah,
right. Different thing. That's where I don't feel loved or whatever my definition was.
Right.
Yeah. And, I felt like I was the chore girl, that I couldn't do anything until, all this stuff was done. And that was my reality. And so, I lived that for a long time. When in fact, I came out into, the world and go, wait a minute, I don't have to be that anymore. Mm-hmm. Right. I can get support for that. I mean, I've had a housekeeper now for 25 years. I'm like, I don't know what I would do without her.
Yeah.
Like, no way.
Good for you. Good for you.
And even though my children got to see that I had somebody, right, they've been doing it themselves. And now my son, who's a fireman, and I'm like, wait a minute, like you guys have busy lives, right? I'm like, get a housekeeper.
Mm-hmm. Or get
now they
something.
got one after like 3 years, and they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, yes, this is why.
Yes. Right.
The quality
or
of
something.
Life, yes, the quality of life to be with your children. He has a 2.5-year-old and an 8-year-old. I'm like, the quality of life to not spend your weekends cleaning the house, deep cleaning. I mean, obviously you have to do a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, it's just, so like you say the safe thing, and I'm like, I can take you through the pause method pretty easily where I can get you to start thinking, right? Just to identify what the subconscious belief is, or the default reaction you have, right? That's shaping your current experiences. So I always ask, if I was to ask you, like, what's the story that you're telling yourself right now? And is it rooted in truth or past conditioning? Which you just answered the question. Mm-hmm. Whatever the message is, right? It's rooted in past conditioning. And so, being aware of that and where it came from and how the first time you thought that you weren't safe.
Isn't it funny how I've been in, like, just people in general, we have been adults. And that was one of the things I would always use in coaching sports is I tell my athletes, hey, but my students too, when I talk, you only get 18 years to be a kid. Hopefully you're going to be an adult for 60 years. And you're going to have all this time to make all these different decisions that are adult decisions. Live those 18 years as a kid as carefree and as irresponsible as possible. Because you're not going to be able to get to do it again once you're an adult. Like once you start making adult decisions, that's it. You've propelled yourself to that level. And it's funny how we talk about this and that there could be something rooted in someone's childhood that is only that short 18 years, basically, and that you could carry it, to 57 or whatever. It's very so powerful.
As you're saying that, because I know, and I've already kind of identified it, my dad, I think he's the one that upset my mom, but he would say to my sister, I'm the oldest of 3, but he would say to myself and my middle sister, don't do anything to upset your mother. Like, don't get your mother upset. Make sure you get this done. So I was always the one, I'm like, well, I don't want to get anybody upset. So you just took on, well, let me just do this. And, I'm going to just push those ceilings down.
You still do it.
I just still do it.
Well,
but I know where it's rooted from. And then and the same thing. So you were always the one that you had to make sure, like, oh, you had to get dinner done. You had to make sure before they got home from work that this was done because don't upset your mother. Don't upset your mother. So you recognize it where you're just like everything had to be kind of put to. And again, this is in your first 18 years of life.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then so I'm sure you're still doing that, like your wonderful co-partner there. And you're still doing that. And how does that feel when you get in that rut? Like, and it's not all the time, but I'm sure. Like,
So
some of the time.
I'm doing it less. I am doing it
Just did it this weekend.
I know. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
try to adjust it. I'm doing it a lot less because I've recognized it, and I've recognized that my feelings are important, and I have to
Sure.
get myself.
How
back.
long are your retreats?
I know.
For 2 days.
2 days. I think we could use 2 days.
I know. I paused. Yeah, we'll be there.
I think we could use it.
All
right.
And that's why I said, like, it's good that you get to see where it comes from, because what I, tell my women that I coach, it's like, just accept it. Just acknowledge and accept it, not with judgment, not with resistance, not
Yes.
with any, just accept it. That is what it was, right? And now let's unravel it, unwind it, right? Because really, is that truth today? Is that a truth today?
That you have to worry about upsetting your mother.
Yeah, no.
Or that you really, I'm like, that you have to do all this stuff not to make someone upset.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
We can go on and on.
we don't need this to be about us. All right. So
So, but I'm just saying, it's just a question, right? I'm
yeah.
just saying.
Yeah,
no,
no,
you're
it's
absolutely
good.
right.
Really,
You're
and
absolutely
to like unwind it, right? And go, is it belief? Is it, if this belief, is it true or is it not true, right? And then to
probably
actually,
not.
what is the situation teaching you at this moment in time, right?
Right.
The space between a reaction and a response, right? That
Yeah.
really is where the real power comes from, where the real work happens, right? In between the two. If you get triggered on something, right? There's
Yep.
this gap that goes, ooh, why am I getting triggered, right?
Stop.
It usually
Yep.
comes from something in the past. And so then we get to shift and create a new empowering truth, a new story to ourselves, basically, and basically, if it's not true and it's a lie, right? That you don't have to be people pleasing or whatever someone calls it, right? Like, what would life look like? If you really didn't need to live there, what could life look like, right? And then we just start to embody that and practice that new way of thinking. And that's really what the pause method is. It's just 5 steps. It's very, simple steps, but it takes a lot of courage to go there.
Okay.
No, I can imagine.
I'm sure.
So, do you use special techniques to help your clients step back from the noise and gain that clarity?
Yeah, and so a lot of times we do a lot of breathing, breath work. Breath work is huge. It really actually gets you to connect with your body. And I
Love
always
it.
retreats with breath work because we just really need to ground ourselves in the morning. And I actually get to see also where some people, I actually participate in it. I feel that as a facilitator, we need to participate in when we do retreats so we actually can be vulnerable enough to bring forth something first. It gives permission to other people to do that as well. And so the technique there is, a lot of breath work first. I ask a lot of questions during, meals, right, that get people thinking. And, that's how I get to know what's happening with people, right? And then a lot of one-on-one coaching. But one of the biggest techniques that I have people do is to go back and do a timeline of everything they remember in their life. Just put some happy music on, use some markers, get some big Post-it, papers, and just start writing things that you remember, right? Just write them down, use different colors based on different themes or whatever, and then do a timeline. So when I did this, it was quite some time ago, I realized that every 7 years, something happened in my life, right? And I'm like, wow. So when I saw the timeline, I could see what was that story I told myself that I wasn't loved? Well, it was my definition of how I wanted to be loved. My parents didn't know. Like, how would they know? Right? And so I was able to see that, and then something happened, and then I could see that, and then something happened, and then and then I feel like I mattered for a while. So you do things, strategies you pull forward to prove that you matter. Like I remember being in 4th grade and taking spelling tests, and literally I'm just gonna spell them how they sound, like egg, A-G. Like I knew how to spell egg. Come on, right?
Right.
But attention's attention, however you get it, right? And so, we have strategies, right? So if someone doesn't feel safe, they stay home, right? They isolate themselves. Someone feels they don't belong, they don't create community. You just stay stuck in that hole. And so the coaching that I help women do is I don't give them homework. I just give them little challenges, that they need to opt into for the week. I give them something to do so they can see what's on the other side. They're very small baby steps. So these things are
very
small,
good.
right? So they
Yeah.
can see. So that's basically the pause method. That's basically the pause method.
All right. So what if you have a client that they have a hard time seeing what's normal and not what's not normal? How do you help them through that and like, things that aren't serving them.
We go back to, is it truth or fiction? Right?
Okay.
So it's a story they're telling themselves, and we just have to unravel it. Right? So it's a lot of questions, just asking a lot of questions. And when they can really tap into the emotion, right, then that's where the real truth is that I see, and then we unravel that. So I was helping a woman on a podcast a while ago, and I asked her some questions, but not willing to go deep. We cut this piece out, by the way. And that was fine. So she wanted to stay surface, so I just stayed surface with her. She just wasn't willing, right? And that's fine. She wanted to stay very up here, because she was thinking about audience, right? And we already told her it was going to cut out. But still, she didn't believe that. There's something in her psyche that she wasn't believing it. So, so it just depends. People are ready when they're ready. And sometimes it takes a while. There was a woman I worked with for a whole year. She was mourning. She worked for a really big known speaker, and the speaker had passed away from cancer. And she was her assistant, and she got really, really stuck. And it took a long time. She wasn't willing to go there and grieve. And so it took 9 months till she was ready. And then I knew when she was going to be ready, and then I challenged her, even though she still thought she wasn't ready. I challenged her to go out in nature, go spend a day, go grieve, go what you have to do. Yell, scream, holler, go whatever you need to do. And she was ready. And now her world is very different. She wasn't singing or dancing or acting, which she loved to do as a child because someone told her she wasn't good at it, so she stopped doing it. Now she's doing all three. She has an acting manager. She's doing amazing. It's been 2 years. So that's what I'm
really
saying,
great.
right? It's just everybody in their own time, and it's baby steps. It's not huge things.
Okay. So we're talking as far as the pause method. I know that with your pause method, each letter does signify something. Can you just go through each one of those steps?
Yeah.
Or at least tell us.
Yeah, of course. So the P, right? The P is the perception and awareness. Okay. And then the A is acknowledging, not with any judge, just acknowledging what happened, basically.
Okay.
Okay. And the U is really unraveling and understanding it with someone mentoring and asking you specific questions, right? Really understanding where it comes from, right? So then we actually can leave it where it belongs and shift your narrative for today forward. And then we have to just embody and practice it, right? Every day, a little tiny thing every single day, right? Which is where the coaching comes in, right? Just
I was going to say, it sounds
little thing.
Sounds so easy, but you definitely need the right questions. You definitely need the right formula to get to where that embodiment is.
Absolutely, because sometimes someone just needs to I have women that actually will just go in the kitchen in the middle of the night, right, and just take a moment in the dark, because that's what they need to do, right? That's how they get they're just alone time for a moment, just to meditate, be with God, whatever that is for people. And then I have other women, corporate women, that actually would get underneath their desk for 10 minutes just to chill out, to not be on the hamster wheel, right? The performance track, right? Because the reality is, when people stop, their mind, their creative thinking comes into play when you just time out. The rejuvenation of even 10 minutes. And an idea may come to you that's all yours, that is the solution to whatever that issue is, even in corporate America. But we're listening to everybody else, and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. I'm like, wait a minute, there's a simple solution to this. Let me just bring this forward and have a voice, right? This could change the trajectory of our whole department. But we're not even thinking about it because we're just, go, 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 go. And I was in corporate America, so I know this. Been in many a board meeting, right?
Where you're just you're following along, you're following the rat race.
Yeah. There's women that are pregnant and they're scared to tell people they're pregnant, or they've got morning sickness and they're running to the restroom, not letting people know that because they're worried they're going to get fired, or that the next person's going to come up and take their job. It's just all these things that we're concerned about instead of just being our truest feminine self. We end up pulling these masculine things into play, and some of them we have to do, but a lot of times we don't. But we've never ever said, no, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do the laundry every day. I can get help. I don't need to unload the dishwasher, right? And then all of a sudden we feel like we have a partner again, where instead of doing it all. There's so many times that I see these weird memes and stuff of the guy on the phone walking ahead of the woman that's with the the baby and the wagon and
Yes.
and I'm like, what the heck is going on? We just ask for help. We don't need, I don't know where we've decided we have to do it all, right?
And I think it's because we were told we had to prove that we were stronger.
Right, because we were like the stronger, like the generation of like a workforce, like, you women are going to be the first women that are going to be in those boardrooms.
Yes.
You're the first round.
That kind of got indoctrinated,
Like-
and not to show, not to show that soft side, not to show that feminine side.
Right.
You had to be tough, you had to be strong, you had to work harder, you had to be faster. Yeah.
But you also had to still be the best parent.
Correct.
Right? You still had to make sure you were doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're still grocery shopping. You're still figuring out what are we having for dinner. Yeah,
Right.
you're doing
Dinner.
Yes.
From 6
And
a.m.
dinner.
to 9
like dinner.
right?
That would be the pause. I'm gonna
Dinner
pause
is
and
like,
not have
that's
dinner.
when I need a break. The cleaning's not as bad to me as like,
Yeah, I love laundry. I love doing laundry every time. I don't mind laundry. It's the dinner.
I do too. Laundry's my therapy. Yeah.
Yes.
Laundry's my therapy.
I do like, Karen, your idea, like embody, because again, it takes practice. I'm
Yes.
practicing. I have to embody it every day, and I'm practicing.
all right, I'm not judging you. Remember, there's
I
no
know.
judgment.
Yeah, there's no
I'm just
judgment.
reminding you so that way you are aware.
Yes. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank
yeah.
you for being
and,
in my.
It's funny because somewhere along the line, someone, I don't remember, but somebody told me that self-care got reduced to like bubble baths, We're still exhausted and nothing changes, right? And then we're apologizing for needing some rest or some space or, something different than what's happening. And I'm like, why? I mean, we don't need to apologize, We're human beings, Just be authentic to who you are. And like, I feel like, at one point I didn't even know who I was anymore. And I'm like,
Can I raise my hand for that one? Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, who am I? What do I really want? What do I want to design? It's like a new jigsaw puzzle, a blank slate, right? And every little piece, like we need to pick our pieces, We're like
that's
really
great.
like intentional, right? And then create this canvas, this picture that you want, which includes family and your husband and da-da-da-da. And I remember I was working with one woman that I said, how about if you start having like, I don't know, like Sunday night, 1 hour, fun little interactions with your family and just ask one question, right? Like, I don't know what it would be, but like to have them, and I don't remember what it was for her, to have everybody just talk about one thing, to get to know each other a little bit more. Like I remember I used to call it story time. A long time ago when I was working with this group of women, I said, it's story time, whatever you want to talk about. And so, it's very interesting when you have story time and they get to talk 30 minutes uninterrupted and you get to learn a lot about people.
See, and I was thinking, how quiet was it before someone finally spoke up?
I know.
Oh no, there's people that will speak up and then you get to understand the personalities in your house.
Okay.
Right? So, there's always the dominant person, right? There's always the influencer, promoter person, the fun person. There's always the analytical person. And then, of course, the person that always supports and does everything for everybody, right? And obviously, we need all these personalities.
Right.
Okay? But, it's kind of like when you go to a restaurant, right? And the menu, the dominant person will know what they need right away. Down and dirty, man. Same thing probably all the time, right? The analytical person will take forever, read the whole menu, right? Like the supportive person has probably already read the menu and knows what they want, but they're going to wait around and go, well, what do you want? What do you want? Oh, maybe I'll, and like, influencer person doesn't even read the menu. They're talking to everybody while they're walking through the restaurant.
That's good.
So I can tell you, this Chris right here is part of my pause community, and she has been. But can you tell us about your pause community and what it offers?
Oh, my pause community. Okay, so
Yes.
As far as, are you talking about the community, Sanctum community?
The online
Yes.
one.
Yeah, Sanctum community. Yeah, so it's a free community basically where women can join. And basically I will get on, once a week to this community and we'll just talk about something. Somebody will have a question. Sometimes I coach, one-on-one. Sometimes we just talk about a specific topic. Like empty nester, right? Like, we'll talk about that for a while. And then women, because what I feel like in a group of women, no matter how many it is, we all come from different backgrounds. No one person's the same. We're all uniquely in different experiences and we all can learn from each other. So one of the big things that I wanted in a community like this was for women to bring their wisdom, and because it doesn't matter how old you are, right? You're bringing something forward. I did not have a mentor when I was younger. And that's one of the things that I tell people, if I was to change anything or if I was to ask my younger self, I wish I had a woman that I could bounce things off of. I wish there was an older woman. And so now that's what I want to create, is people really having a voice and being heard and feeling safe and being seen and know that they matter, right? In this community across the United States, where we can come together and really help each other. And then people could form their own communities and their own little, like, you know, towns, right? Because what happens is you find out that somebody's in the community that lives literally down the street, right?
I love that. Yeah,
that's great.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah,
I love how you mentioned your letter to your younger self, only because that's part of our weekly segment. So we are inviting you to join us on our weekly segments.
I would love that.
Oh, that's great. So
What did I learn before I forget? And this can be something simple and practical, or insightful and reflective. Sometimes for us, it's funny.
Yes.
It just is something that could have popped up that before you forget it, you want to make sure everybody knows about it.
Oh, okay. I think the most courageous thing I've ever done is give myself permission to not know what's next. Because in the uncertainty, there's so much opportunity, right? But we have to stop long enough to like find out what that is. So fear is a big factor. So fear comes from something's in your mind. You're imagining it going somewhere because of something you pulled forward from history. Because fear is the unknown. We don't know what's going to happen, like right when we get off this call, right? So, and if I truly don't know what's going to happen, I can live in the moment, right? Because the universe is going to keep going. We don't need to give it a memo, right? It just keeps going. However, if we decide to not live in fear and really be excited about what's going to happen in the future, right, then there's all kinds of possibilities, okay? It's really a mind shift, it's a shift. It's a mindset shift, right? And it's really a simple habit that you go, okay, so what am I fearful of? Why am I fearful of? Where is it coming from? Well, that's not true, because I really don't know what's going to happen. I just have this amazing imagination that pulled something forward. And I can even ask you, how many times have you imagined something happening in the future, and has it ever really
Correct.
happened the way you imagined it?
So as you're saying this, there's something that I gave up, and I hope this doesn't make me sound too crazy, but like I noticed there's things, if I was anxious about something, I may have played out the entire scene of what I think it was going to be, or a conversation, and played it out, and I took that time from myself. That time I spent making up something in my brain that hadn't happened, and it never happened, was wasted time. So I am very cautious now that I don't let myself do that. I don't try to predict what, if I'm concerned about bringing up a certain conversation, never with you. But I am concerned about it. I don't try to play it out in my head before it happens anymore.
Oh, good.
That's
Perfect.
great. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
And it
'cause
takes practice, right? Like, how long
Yes, it
does
does.
to really get in that mode?
Yes. And I used to have this on my refrigerator, and it used to say, God has a plan for me, and that's all I need to know. And I
Yes.
try and say it to the kids, my kids, that look, like there's a plan in your life, and you can't question why some things happened or why some things didn't happen. It's all part of life's journey for you, and you just have to have faith to move on. So, but again, it does take some work to do that, to really have that trust.
It totally does. And so one of the things one of the trigger words, or one of the triggers emotionally that you know that you're in it. First of all, if you're depressed, it's something that you're focusing on the past, and you're focusing on a lot, right? Something that's happened in the past. But anxiety is focusing on the future of what hasn't happened yet,
Yes.
right? And so, when someone has anxiety, it's an opportunity to go like, what's happening? What do you think is going to happen, right? And just really unraveling that. So, because it won't. I mean, that's why we need women that are older than us, right? To give us some wisdom and go,
Yeah.
hey, I know what that is. I've done that. And yet it doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen that way. And if I'm a praying woman, and if God is here for me, then what's against me, right? Nothing.
Okay.
We're just going to live our life, right? And just go about, being loving human beings, and, impacting the world as we can based on our talents and how we can actually inspire people. I mean, you guys are inspiring tons of people with your podcast.
We're
Love
trying.
what you're doing.
As you.
No, you're not. There's no such thing as trying. You're doing it, right? Like, you're really like, getting out there, and there's tons of people that are listening to you. So, and we don't know how we're impacting the world. We just have to keep doing our part.
Right. And that's what we're trying. We're just trying to be supportive to
So
other
I
women.
I'll share that. So I have a dear friend, and she will tell you that her superpower is getting cancer in places that they can remove it. She's been battling cancer. She's been going through the infusions now to keep it at bay. She left me a voicemail yesterday, and I could cry. I could just adore her. She was going for a walk, and she was trying to get caught up on episodes. And one of the letters to my younger self was, the life that you have right now is someone else's dream.
That's we did say that.
And we've talked about it. And she reflected on that, because she said, she gets so depressed about that she's battling this illness. She's like, but how lucky am I that now I'm able to be out here and I'm walking and I'm taking that time for myself. So she was like, I need to thank you for reminding me of that.
That's
so
nice.
I did. I felt I was
Felt
like,
we did, yeah.
So I'm
We got a
glad I
reason.
could share that with you now.
Yeah. One of my mentors said, it was interesting when he said this, he said that, she doesn't have cancer. Cancer just is in her.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
I do like that.
And that is a different shift.
It is. It's just
does.
that small shift that it's not who you are.
Yes.
It's not who you
Yes.
are. It just happens to be in you.
Well, this has been so beautiful. It almost feels wrong to go on to this just pisses me off. But
I know.
I feel like, Karen, there's nothing that makes you angry. But if there's something,
no, let me tell you, there is.
all right, here we go. Now we're
right.
getting there. All right. So this segment is called "This Just Pisses Me Off," and you get a chance to just vent and air out anything that annoyed you in the past week, or longer.
Oh, in the past week?
Well, it could be longer. For us, we do it weekly, so
It's
Okay.
what our past week.
Yeah,
But you
so-
just
Okay,
share
so
some.
you
yeah.
yours can be your whole life.
No, in my past week, I think that, I'm really, really conscious of good energy and not being in negative space or negative places. And I have found myself in some spaces where people are super negative. And typically I have the energy to just tune it out, or walk or do whatever. I have permission to leave the room or do whatever I do. And I haven't been able to do that. And so I found myself, I'm getting a little, unnerving about it. But then I go, okay, what's a question I can ask so I could figure out what's going on with this person? And so the question was what's happening with you? Why are we so angry today? Just in a very loving kind of way, right? And so, and it was told me what it was. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That's her truth, right? But it's just a lot of judgment, a lot of opinionated. And I think to myself, we're in such a judgmental world and such an opinionated world, but because we're human beings. But if we really could stop that and stop judging other people, and just let people be who they are, because people are going to attract circumstances in people where they're not healed. So there's something deeper going on. And, I haven't had an opportunity to actually speak with this person in depth, but I can tell something's going on. And, at some point, because she is a friend, I will have a side time with her and talk to her about it more. And I have in the past, so I kind of know some things that are going on, but there's something else I don't know, because it's not, it's worse than it's ever been. And so I think that if we can just come from a loving standpoint, just love, then we can really, help ourselves and help other people. We just forget that we were born as precious human beings, and somewhere along the line, we decided we weren't precious anymore.
You just turned this pisses me off into a beautiful segment.
Sorry.
No,
it was
I
wonderful.
love it.
That was
It's
good.
such
We got to stay positive.
I don't know if it pisses me off. I think it's just, I get a little frustrated when I go, ugh,
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. Let me stop for a moment, because I've done the pause method for so long. It's been 16 years. So, I'm kind of I can catch myself faster, right? Something triggered me. So I'm like, where's that coming from? I just need to be quiet for a moment. But let me tell you, I remember when my kids piss me off or they do something and I'm just like, oh, I was so mad at my daughter. Like for so many years, she had this one boy that she was with for 6 years and she got me so upset because she kept going back to him, kept going back to him, kept going back. And I could see what was going on, right?
And you can't
I
say a
got
word.
so mad I wanted to just shake her, you know, and yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
No, I get it. That's really
That
hard
was
because
what
you
pisses
can't.
me off. When you see
There
your
you
kid
go.
going off a cliff and you're like, what the F?
We've talked about that, how we can say, hey, the train is a mile up the road and you're getting close to the train smashing right into you. Let's try to talk about this. And they're going, I don't need to talk. I've got it all
because
figured
you
it
have
out.
to let them. You have to let
Yes.
them.
Yes.
I
And
tell you,
that's,
we've
we
talked
have to
about
the
let
that.
them.
other,
We did
another
it.
topic.
We did it, and we have to let them. But it's so hard. It's so hard to watch your kids go off a cliff.
It is because you just want to stop the pain. And we said that. It's not that
can't.
we're trying to control their life. We want to prevent the pain.
Well, and
So-
you can't. You know, so there's this new thing going on that, you know, kids hate their parents, right? I'm sure you guys have heard about it. This new phenomena. I'm hearing it all the time, and I did a story on it once, and I'm like, I don't understand it. Does anybody have any, you know, insight to it? But I have some friends that are going through this, and you know, and I asked the men about it actually as well. I said, can you give me insight? What's your insight on it? Because, you know, as women, we have, you know, different feelings about it. And basically, it's like, you know, I don't put myself in the middle of my kids' marriages. I don't like I just don't. I don't judge. I don't opinion. I'm here
Smart.
to love them and support them. But I decided that a long time ago. It's not always easy. And they come to me when they need something. And then I'm like, you know, or I'll ask them, hey, you know what? I might have some insights on that if you want an opinion, if you want me to give you, you know, just some insights on it, just to think about at some point in time. Happy to give that to you. I've said that before. Sometimes they say, you know, no, it's okay. I'm doing good. And I'm like, great, you know, but they do come. And so now, you know, it's interesting because my son's family, they come to me for a lot now. Like they've realized they have small kids, right? And of course I raise kids, so they come to me for a lot. So what you find out is when you give your kids permission to live their own lives and you don't interject or try to like tell them what to do or how to live their life, that's their marriage, that's their relationship. They got to figure it out. They will open up and start coming to you. They all come to me now, all three of them. I've been very close to all three of my kids, and they're all 6 years apart. Two of them work for me, so I talk to them all the time.
Oh, nice.
And then one's the fireman. He's a captain in a firehouse. And it's great listening to these people, and I'm like, well, what's happening? How come they're so upset? Well, you're still trying to parent them. Stop parenting them.
That's what we're learning.
Yes.
We are a work in progress, but we are learning.
But, you know, it takes a long time. I mean, I'm 64 years old, and my kids are like 26, 33, and 38 now. Almost 38. And, like, it's hard. Once in a while,
Yes.
something comes out, and then I'm like, oh, sorry. And they're like, no, that's okay, Mom. You know? But they come to me for really hard stuff, too. You know?
No.
Before, and she, like, comes to me and says, I don't know what to do.
So let's move to, and you've already alluded to this a little bit earlier,
that's right.
your letters to my younger self. What would be your letter to your younger self? Or one of the
Well,
letters?
I would say, you know, as human beings, we're going to work really hard to earn love and approval. That will actually almost, you'll lose yourself in the process, always striving to get that. I would just say stop, because we're already enough. We just need to start loving ourselves and dissecting that. Because once you do that, it changes things, right? To build a life versus building a resume of performance and, you know, career performance.
That's really good.
Like really to like intentionally look within yourself and to design your life. Like really, what do you want to design? What do you want to create, right? If you love the garden, like why aren't we building a garden? It's spring.
Right.
Right?
And not design it to match
Yeah.
the other people around you.
Yes. Like really design your life with your kids and your husband and, you know, your friends. But I got to tell you, I had to take an inventory of, you know, of my friends, of my whole world. And, you know, I moved and I dropped a lot of people out of my life because it wasn't in alignment with where I'm going. I used to be a yes person all the time and I was exhausted. Yes, you know, because we're learned to say yes to everything, right? And I'm like, now I go, okay, is that in alignment with the life I'm creating for my family, my career, my friend, is that, and if the answer is no, then the answer is no. Like, it's no. But no, unapologetic no. Like, that's not really going to work for me this year. I can take a look at it maybe next year, but this year it's not going to work for me. I kind of already know where I'm going and what I'm designing this year, right? And
That's a good
also,
letter.
I would say not to tell everybody what you're doing.
Oh, I don't know if I'm good at that one.
Things that I just don't, because especially with family, like extended family, right? Because everyone has an opinion and everybody wants to keep you contained in what feels good to them. And when you start busting out of that box and do something else, it doesn't work for a lot of people anymore. It really doesn't.
That's 100% true, and I have followed that.
I think,
Yeah.
I guess we have a little bit because I didn't really tell people we were doing this podcast, like my whole family. and
I
stuff like
didn't
that.
either.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really believe it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then,
But
and
no,
then
no,
it did.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's, our final segment.
And this is one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's more fun. It's 50 Shades of Health and Beauty. Do you have anything to share for our 50 Shades of Health and Beauty?
Yeah. I think my morning routine has been a huge game changer. Huge game changer. Because, and I'm pretty good at it, except maybe the exercise every once in a while, right? Travel's really hard to exercise when you're traveling.
It is.
But I have a morning routine that I do every morning now. And I mean, if I don't do it, I'm off. It's that grounded thing, right? So when I get up, I get up, I get my cup of coffee. I used to get my dog up in the morning with me, and I don't do that anymore. I take an hour without my pup. And so what I do now is I get up, I make my coffee, I do the cold water thing for my face and do whatever I'm doing. I typically try to go outside and have my coffee, so I'm out in nature, sun, whatever, because it's beautiful.
Love
now,
it.
It's not raining. And then after that, I do a little meditation for 10 minutes. Then I actually read 10 pages of a book that I'm reading. And right now I'm reading 10X versus 2X book by Dan Sullivan and Dan Hardy. I'm reading that because I'm always doing something with business. But I also read John Maxwell, it's a little devotion every day. It's for the day. So you just open the day up and there it is and you read it. And so I'm doing that as well. And then I'll get my dog up and then we go play. We go outside and we, toss the ball up for a little while. I'm still outside and we do that. And then I'm always like starting my day. I started early. I'm in California now, so I started early to be on this at 8 a.m. I'm usually not really doing anything till 10. And then I literally work from 10 to 3. Sometimes I work a little bit longer, but I work from 10 to 3. And that's what I do. And then I stop because that's enough. It's 5 hours, constant 5 hours. And then I stop. Where I used to work 7 a.m. or 7 p.m., right? Exhausted, no time for me, don't even know what I want to do. Then I had to learn how to sit down and watch a movie and be okay with it, not working, so it's just changed. But I would say that morning routine, right, gives me really good energy. I started taking vitamins again. So just, doing different things to see what worked for me, but it took a while. And then I actually have some non-negotiables in my life. So I would say that everybody should have some real non-negotiables. Mine's my morning routine and my skin routine, right? I'm always working on one little thing for myself. What can I do to improve myself that I can impact others better, whether it's my family or my friends or whatever. I know that for the first time, I'm going to London. I'm going to a conference in London. However, I've never been to London. And so
You'll love it. You'll love it.
I'm going for early for a few days. And I really wanted to go with my daughters to take them to the Mom and Me experience, which is going to be 4 minutes from where I'm at. And I'm like, I'm going to go by myself. I'm just going to go. I'm doing that for me, right?
Good for you.
So I went early so I could actually do that. And, and then the funny thing is my daughter-in-law ended up going the same time. So now we're traveling together.
Oh,
that's great.
Which is awesome.
Yes.
So just simple little things, sleep, make sure that, I go to bed by 10. I typically wake up at 7, so I'm getting a really good 8 hours of sleep. I think something unexpected for me was how I'm cutting one thing out. It's either a toxic relationship, maybe I'm not looking at social media at a certain time. Like I don't really grab my phone in the morning. I don't watch the news purposely. I
Smart.
Yeah.
Have the paper once in a while just to see what's going on. Nothing really is great. So, I remember there was John Krasinski is his name, or some guy that maybe it was him that did like this during COVID. He did this positive take on the news. Everything was positive, and I loved it. And he stopped doing it. And I'm like, whoa, right? I wish somebody would do that again. Yeah,
He's cute too.
Thing. And he's cute too.
Yeah.
Just one thing that I could do, and I think it's more of like, what can I get rid of that's not serving me, and it's not in alignment with when I'm going, right? Whether it's a friend or whatever it is, it's one thing that I take out. Yeah, I mean, I think sleep is really good. Oh, here's another thing. I was dehydrated for 10 years and didn't know it.
A lot of people, I think, say that. Yeah. More than it should be. Yes.
Yeah. Right. And so I was challenged. Someone gave me a challenge, and so I said, okay, I'm up for the challenge, right? So I always ask people to opt into challenges I give them. And so I did that, and I started, what I found was I put the bottle of water, I would never open the cap to drink it. So then I'm like, okay, well, I've got to get this done, so I got to figure it out. So I had to get a Stanley cup with a straw. And then I actually could drink water all day long if it had a straw in it. So I figured it out. And then I started feeling really, really good. My skin started looking better, everything like that. And I'm like, wow. So then that was just a habit of mine. Then I got sick, and I didn't drink water because I was sick. Well, actually, I was sick. I had hip surgery, and then I got sick, blah, blah, blah. And I got dehydrated again, and I immediately knew what it was, because it was no longer a norm to be dehydrated, right?
Yeah.
And then it became
So that's really good. Yeah, you can identify it right away.
Yeah, you can identify right away. So it's the same thing with anything in life. When you become aware of how you're playing life, and you get better and better and better at it, and you're like, oh, that's a trigger. Where's it coming from? Oh, it's coming from that. I don't live there anymore. That's not even a truth for me, so I don't need to live there. Nervous system relaxes. You get to, move forward with a different operating system for yourself. It just works, but it takes practice. That's the point. To take a pause, understand what's going on, put something great in place, and then practice it.
So it's really good because we're all a work in progress.
Yes.
And I like that. But Karen, thank you so much for joining us on Not Your Mother's Midlife Crisis. I know I have learned so much.
Yes.
I know there are takeaways that I'm going to do and start being better.
We're going to intentionally pause.
And we're going to intentionally pause throughout our day. And we're going to embody it and work on it every day. I will definitely do that. Yep. But we need to thank our affiliates, the Under Outfit and the Pelvic Floor Store. I know, in fact, not only do they have the Under Outfit sports bras, but because of Deanne, our friend Deanne, I just bought the Under Outfit bra.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah, they're really good bras.
It's really good. Mm-hmm.
And Karen, where can our listeners find you?
KarenBartholomew.com, or on my Instagram page, it's just Karen Bartholomew, or Facebook. Those are the best way to follow me. DM me if somebody wants a discount to the retreat. I'm happy to do that for your listeners.
And we'll put all of that, any links that you want to share with me. Yeah. I'll get them after we're finished, and I will put them in the show notes and make it easy accessible for all of our listeners.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It has been great.
Yes.
Thank you for your time and your expertise. We really appreciate it. Download our episode when it comes out. Tell your friends and family to also download the episode when it comes out tomorrow. Everybody, please follow. And you can also follow us on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram.
This will definitely be one to download.
This is a good one. Mm-hmm. This is definitely a good one. So until next week, where we continue to seek answers for women's healthcare.
And support one another.
Thank you so much.